Tonight, we dive into the twisted life and crimes of Joseph James DeAngelo, infamously known as the Golden State Killer. From his early years and career in law enforcement to the shocking spree that would shake California to its core, we'll piece together the journey of a man who evaded justice for over 40 years until the breakthrough discovery that brought him down. Joseph James DeAngelo was born on November 8, 1945, in Bath, New York. Growing up, DeAngelo's family moved several times due to his father's career in the military. Early accounts describe him as a quiet but intelligent child with a keen interest in mechanics and an aptitude for fixing things. However, there were troubling signs even in his youth, with some reports suggesting he was often isolated, prone to anger, and lacked deep friendships. DeAngelo's fascination with the law led him to pursue a career in law enforcement. In the early 1970s, he served as a police officer in Exeter, California, where he gained the trust of his colleagues and seemed dedicated to public service. However, beneath this respectable exterior, DeAngelo harbored dark secrets and hidden urges. His tenure in law enforcement would soon end, and he was fired for shoplifting, an event that marked a turning point in his life. The criminal path began in the mid-1970s with a string of burglaries in Visalia, California. Known as the Visalia Ransacker, DeAngelo's early crimes were largely focused on theft and break-ins. He became notorious for ransacking homes, taking small items and leaving victims feeling violated. Although these crimes may have seemed minor at the time, they were just the beginning. After moving to the Sacramento area, DeAngelo escalated his criminal behavior. He became known as the East Area Rapist, targeting women and couples in a series of home invasions and assaults. His methods were chilling. He would stalk his victims, often making repeated phone calls to terrorize them. Then, under the cover of darkness, he would break into their homes, overpower them, and instill a sense of terror that lingered long after he left. His modus operandi was methodical, from pre-cut ligatures to meticulous planning, and his assaults escalated over time. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, DeAngelo's methods evolved once more, with his crimes moving further south to the Santa Barbara, Ventura, and Orange counties. Now known as the original Night Stalker, he transitioned from burglary and assault to murder, killing his victims with calculated brutality. His victims ranged in age and circumstance, from newlyweds to longtime partners, all caught in his violent spree. By now, the Golden State Killer's reign of terror was one of California's most haunting unsolved mysteries. For decades, detectives across California worked tirelessly, analyzing evidence, interviewing witnesses, and trying to connect the dots between the seemingly unrelated crime waves. The first major breakthroughs came with DNA technology linking the East Area Rapist, the original Night Stalker, and the Visalia Ransacker to the same individual. Yet, without a match, investigators faced a wall of frustration. It wasn't until 2018, after more than 40 years, that new investigative techniques provided a breakthrough. Using genetic genealogy, analyzing DNA evidence from crime scenes, and cross-referencing it with public genealogy databases, investigators traced a suspect back to Joseph James DeAngelo. DNA from a discarded item confirmed the match, and DeAngelo was arrested in his home, a quiet suburban neighborhood, where neighbors described him as an ordinary, if somewhat reclusive, retiree. The nation was stunned as DeAngelo was brought to trial. The courtroom was filled with surviving victims, their families, and families of the deceased, all hoping for justice after decades of trauma. DeAngelo, now an elderly man, sat quietly, offering little defense. In a dramatic moment, he muttered, "I did all that," confessing to his crimes in a manner that seemed cold and detached. Faced with overwhelming evidence, he eventually pled guilty to avoid the death penalty, receiving multiple life sentences without parole. DeAngelo's capture marked a historic victory for law enforcement and The families affected by his crimes, his case would set a precedent for genetic genealogy, changing how cold cases are approached and solved. The story of the Golden State Killer remains a powerful reminder of the resilience of survivors and the dedication of those who pursue justice, no matter how long it may take. The Golden State Killer's story exposes the darkest corners of human nature, and yet it also highlights the persistence of hope and the determination to seek justice. This case remains etched in California's history, a sobering tale of the evil that hid behind an ordinary face for so many years. Thank you for joining us as we explored the disturbing and complicated life of Joseph James DeAngelo, the Golden State Killer. His story stands as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the strength of survivors and the unrelenting pursuit of justice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into some of the most chilling cases in history. See you next time and stay safe.